Oh, hey, eighth grade scholars, it's Mr. Wells here. I wanted to just go over the remote assignments for this week, for the week of December 13th. I know they've already been posted. I put the directions. I've asked you to read the directions carefully, but I thought maybe it would be better if you could just see or hear me explaining it to you as well. And also know that you can email me. You can also ask to set up a Google Meet with me, and we can talk about these assignments if you need to do that. But I want to just go over that. Right now, I'm sitting here. Who knows when you're going to watch this, but I'm sitting here. It's almost noon on Tuesday, December 14th. Okay. And so keep that in mind for the time frame when I'm talking about this. So this week, your first assignment, remote assignment one, is your second quarter book talks. Remember, we do a book talk every quarter. You were supposed to pick out a book. It was supposed to be a certain number of AR points based on your star reading score. And you have to read that book, pass the AR test on it, which usually you have to take your AR test in your class with your teacher. Since we're fully remote right now, you are permitted to take that AR test at home. So take that AR test. You may want to, find a good summary of the book online, just to kind of refresh yourself of the main points of the book before you take the AR test, because you've got to pass the AR test in order to be able to give the book talk, and the book talk is 40 points towards your second quarter grade. Other than the final, I think it's the highest single grade in the grade book. Um, but so you've got that to do. Now we're going to do the book talks remotely. They were supposed to be done today in class. This was the day. It's been written over on my whiteboard. Um, I don't think you can see it from here, but it's right over there. It's been written on my whiteboard forever that December 14th is our book talks. But we're doing them remotely today. I have the Google Meet scheduled for 2:30 today. That was put out on my Google Classroom. It was put out in your information as well. Your book talk requirements are posted in Google Classroom. You'd go to your classwork tab and then hit the book talks category, and you should be able to see the template for it, all of that that you need to be able to do it. And then the requirements really are the same as they were last quarter. If you use a paper for your book talk, that's fine. I'm not grading that paper. I'm only grading you based on the presentation that you give. Um, you have three options when you're giving your book talk. The audience requirement is waived because we're on remote, so you don't have to have an audience. You could do a private Google Meet with me. That's your first option. You could schedule a Google Meet with me privately to do it sometime this week. If you do that, you have to make your appointment before 2:30 today. So you could have an appointment, and I've got some written on the board already for Friday. And I know somebody has talked about one on Thursday, and those appointments are going to be made. And you can make an appointment for sometime later this week, but you must schedule it before 2:30 today. If you don't, then it'll be considered late. Remember, all late work in this class is 10% off for every class day, every school day that it's late. And these days during this week of December 13th count as school days. Okay, so please, remember that there is a penalty for late work. Um, don't schedule your Google Meet for the Google Meet as another class. I know your science classes have a Google Meet each day. Some of you have to take the Constitution test retake. You have your math final to think about. And so there's a lot of other things going on. You need to make sure and don't double book yourself. If you're going to schedule a book talk with me, schedule it during a time that you're actually available to do that. All right, so that's your first option. Schedule a time to do it with me privately. The second one is give it to the class during our Google Meet on Tuesday at today, December 14th at 2:30. So 2:30, probably about 10 minutes before or so, I'm going to send everybody out a link on Google Classroom. Anybody who's ready to do it can jump on. Anybody who's there will be the audience, and we'll just all do the book talks together, and you'll be able to do your book talk this way. That way you don't have to make an appointment. You don't have to do anything. You just got to be ready at 2:30 today and jump on for your book talk. Okay? So that's your second option, is show up at the book talk Google Meet today at 2:30. Your third option, you can wait and give it in person on Tuesday, January 4th. I don't recommend this. I really want you to do it this week. Really, the only reason I'm giving that as an option is for people who are having internet problems. Either they don't have internet at home, or there's some issue going on this week that has to do with the fact that we've got some COVID cases, and we've got people at home and schedules are thrown off and everything. So I am giving that option for you to do it on the first day that you get back, but I would just recommend you do it, get it over with. That way you're done and you enjoy your holidays, okay? Enjoy your break, because I want you to have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, not worrying about your book talk or your final. It's coming up, okay? Like I said, don't forget you have to take and pass the AR test before giving the book talk. And let me know if you have any questions or concerns about that. Okay, so that was remote assignment number 1, your second quarter book talk. Remote assignment number 2 is the semester exam study guide. Now, this is actually an extra credit assignment. It's 10 extra credit points. So, if you don't do it, you're not going to be penalized for it. But I want you to do it, because by doing it, you're going to prepare yourself for this final. Everything that is on that study guide will be on the final, with the exception of one question, which I found out there was a mistake on a question. It's a question about Omen in the department store. It should have been the Omen in the subway. When you see the study guide, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You can put the answer down. Go ahead, put the answer down for that. I'm just giving it for a completion grade. Whether you get it right or wrong on that is fine. That is the one question that will not be on the test. But all the other ones will. And you need to look carefully over the study guide, because the study guide also tells you about the format of the test. And it tells you how it's going to be set up, the timing of the test, and all of that. Okay? It tells you what you can use on the study guide. You can use a 3x5 note card and all of that. So you need to be looking at that study guide. Look at it very carefully. Fill everything out. If you fill it all out, and they need to be reasonable answers. They don't necessarily have to be correct answers, but you can't put IDK. I don't know. Okay, that's not. Don't put ridiculous answers. They got to be reasonable answers. I give you the 10 points. Boom, you got 10 extra points on your test, and you'll actually get a better grade on the test itself, because you'll be more prepared for that test. Okay, so that's remote assignment number 2, the semester exam study guide. If you completed the study guide on paper, take pictures of it. You can email it to me or drop it off at the school, or even bring it back on January 4th. As long as you bring it back on that day, we'll get it in the grade book, and no worries. If you started filling it out but you left it at school for some reason, email me or contact the school so that we can figure out a way to get it to you. You can, if somebody can come by the school and pick it up this week, that would be awesome. That would be great. I have posted online on your Google Classroom a copy of the study guide. Okay, so you can see it there online, and you can fill it out online. You can submit it that way too. All right, so remote assignment number 2 is a semester exam study guide. Remote assignment number 3 is your semester final exam. All right, your semester final exam. Now, you have 2 options for taking the final exam. The first one is to take it by Google Meet on Wednesday, December 15th. From when I'm recording this video, that's tomorrow, from 2 to 3:30 p.m. I'm allotting 90 minutes for the final. It's a 70 question multiple choice final. So, we're allotting 90 minutes for it, 2 to 3:30 p.m. Okay. I will send a link. On Google Classroom that day. All right. And you're going to need to have audio and visual enabled on your Chromebook to take the exam. For those of you who've been remote in the past, you should have been through this before. We have to guard against cheating on these exams, and it's not perfect, but we try our best. So what we do is you're going to be on the screen just like I'm on the screen now. We need to be able to see you and your surroundings, okay? And we need to be able to hear you. We need to be able to hear what's going on. So you need audio and visual on your screen. If you don't have that, if it's not working for some reason, you're not going to be able to take it remotely. I'm not going to let you take it that day. All right. You also need to understand that Hapara is going to be activated. Now, all of you students, I know you know what Hapara is. Some of your parents might be watching this and might be saying, okay, well, what's that? That's our software that we use to monitor what's on your Chromebook. And so Mrs. Eigner and I are going to be in the room giving the 8th grade ELA final tomorrow. We're going to be monitoring you on the screen, and we're going to be monitoring on your Chromebook. You are not to have any other tabs open. This is important. Remember this. You're not to have any other tabs open except for tests. So take care of that ahead of time. Close your tabs, get out of whatever, save what you need to save so you can go back to it when you need to it. But you're not going to have any other tabs open than just the test itself. All right? So that's your first option, is take it by Google Meet. And I recommend it. I recommend that. And the reason I recommend it is because I want you to take it now. I want you to get it over with, and I want you to enjoy break. Okay, just like I said for the book talk. Take it now, get it over with, enjoy your break. Because your second option is to take it in person the first day back on Tuesday, January 4th. And when we walk into class, that's what we're going to do. I mean, I'm going to say, okay, open your Chromebooks. We're going to take the final. There's going to be some other activity or assignment for those who've already taken it. After people are done with the final, we have time. We're going to start immediately on the book talks that people haven't done yet. It's going to be in your best interest. Believe me, it's going to be in your best interest just to go ahead and take it as long as you're prepared, as long as you're ready for it. Again, the second option is mainly for people who don't have access to the internet. If you're watching this video right now, then you probably do have access to the internet. So you need to choose one of those options. Okay, take it on the Google Meet or take it in person Tuesday, January 4th. Okay, make sure you read through, complete your study guide in preparation for the test. We already talked about that. I distributed that study guide a week ago while we were still in class, and the plan has been, and again, it's up there on the board. Again, it's hard to see. It's actually in red marker. It's almost impossible to see from this distance, but it says December 15th semester exam, aka Supertunity. I call the tests opportunities. This is a super opportunity, a Supertunity. Okay, so we've been joking around about that, but we've been talking about it. And a week ago tomorrow, last Wednesday, I gave the study guide. I said, you've got a week to get the study guide done, and Wednesday is going to be the test. We're fully remote now. It stinks, but we're still going to have the test tomorrow on Wednesday. So make sure you get that study guide done and make sure you read it carefully because it gives you information about the format of the test, and you can still use your 3x5 note card on the test, okay? Make sure that you contact the school. I've already said all this, but I just want to reiterate it. If you left your study guide at school and it's already filled out or already mostly done, contact us so we can get it to you, okay? Otherwise, there's the blank one on Google Classroom, and you can just do it if you haven't done it yet. Okay, you can work with a partner. You can work with a friend. You can get your answers. I mean, look for answers online. I mean, you got to be careful. You know how that is. You Google something, you don't know 100% for sure if it's accurate. Now, there are a lot of questions about the Pigman, for example, on the final. And I put on your Google Classroom an electronic copy of the Pigman. So you can go back and look at it. Even though you're at home and you don't have the book with you, you've got access to that book. Okay? All right. So all of those things, we will have a PAR activated. I've said all that. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions on that. That was remote assignment 3, the final. Remote assignment 4. It's a Wonderful Life Part 1 research project. This is actually what we started in class on Friday. And on Friday, before we knew we were going remote, I said, okay, you're going to have just the first period out of our 2 periods that we meet for ELA every day. You're going to have just the first period on Monday to finish this up, and then it needs to be done, and we're going to present it. Well, we're not going to present it, okay? But you're still going to do the slides that we talked about on Friday. I want you to make sure, read that assignment over, read it carefully, and do what's required. Now, there were slides and a handout mentioned on the assignment. Don't do the handout, okay? We're eliminating the handout because excuse me. Sorry. We're eliminating the handout because it's not going to be needed for what we're doing now that we're remote, and it just lightens your load a little bit, okay? If you've already been working with a group and you're able to finish it with that group, oh gosh, excuse me. If you've already done that, you've already been working with that group, and you want to continue working with that group, you just go ahead and do that, okay? I suggested to many of you on Friday to make sure and just, share your editing permissions on your Google Slides with each other so that, if somebody was absent next week, you would still be able to do it. Well, everybody's absent now because we're on remote learning, okay? So for that project, you're picking out one historical event. It's going to be either Spanish flu, the Roaring '20s, the Great Depression, or World War II, and you're making those 4 slides about it, researching those things. Again, please read the directions and do it. If you have any questions, let me know. All right. Okay. Now let's look at remote assignment number 5. So remote assignment number 5 assumes that you've done the background research from assignment number 4. Okay, the point of that was to give you a little bit of background to understand the historical fiction that we're looking at for this unit. And I had told you that I was planning on showing you a movie called It's a Wonderful Life. Most of you have never seen that movie, although it's considered to be a classic movie, and it's usually shown this time of year around Christmas time. Unfortunately, it's not available in a free online version. That's the nature of copyrighted material. Originally, Mrs. Fruling had found one online for me, and that's what we were going to use, and then it was removed. It's available in a few different streaming services. I was going to show it using my Amazon Prime account. I know it can be rented from YouTube as well. There are probably some other streaming services you can get it from. They show it on TV usually once or twice a year. It's hard to catch that way. I did actually hear that they were going to show it at the Fisher Theater in Danville this weekend. So what I'm telling you is I would really like for you to find a way to watch this movie. And there's notes that I'd like you to take on the movie. Now, if that's not possible, I have also posted on Google Classroom a radio play version. It's a little bit abbreviated, and it's basically actors that stand on stage and perform just the voice roles of the play, of the movie. But it gives you the idea of the story of the movie. Now, the movie itself is so much better. So I really wish if there was a way you could watch the movie, please watch the movie. I wish I could show it to you in class. But again, if you can't do that, the radio play is good too. Okay, so there's a link for it on Google Classroom, but you can type in "It's a Wonderful Life" NBC Palm Springs into YouTube, and you can find it there. Okay, but I want you to watch the movie or the radio play, and I want you to fill out the attached sheet of notes. Okay, and that's on Google Classroom as well. Now I want you to know, if you watch the radio play version, there's one of the 4 historical events that it doesn't really address, because there's a part of the movie that it kind of skips over. And so you'll probably only be able to find 3 out of the 4 historical events on your note sheet if you watch the radio play version and not the movie. Okay, but I want you to watch one or the other, and I want you to fill out the notes and then submit them on Google Classroom when you're done. Okay, so that leads me to remote assignment number 6, okay, which is the follow-up assignment. Okay, It's a Wonderful Life Part 3, the essay. After watching the movie It's a Wonderful Life or viewing the radio play, you write an essay on the movie. Tell me what the theme, and we've talked about theme in class, tell me what the theme or central idea of the movie is. And then describe a scene in the movie that relates that theme. Then tell me whether you agree with the theme or not and why. Okay? Your essay should be 250 to 500 words. Use proper grammar, spelling, etc. If you have questions about it, please let me know. All of these things I may do on June 4th. I'm going to be honest with you. I had talked to Mrs. White, our curriculum director, about it. And she thinks I'm making a mistake doing that. She thinks I'm making a mistake because she's saying, you're going to be that teacher that's giving work over Christmas break. And the truth of the matter is it's not my intention to give you work, okay? We are a 2-period class, so this is a double class, okay? It counts for 2 credits, first and second hour, or third and fourth hour, or fifth and sixth hours when you meet. All right. So there's going to be more work in this class than there is in other classes. But I don't believe that I've given you too much work for this week. You should be able to get it all done this week. But I thought, if I make it due at 3:30 on Friday, the truth of the matter is I'm going to go home, I'm going to enjoy my break, and I'm not going to come back and grade anything till January 3rd. And there might be a few students who are having sickness issues. There might be a few students who are having family issues. There might be a few students who are having internet issues that need a little extra time. So I'm not going to make it due until January 3rd. My intention is not, I repeat, it's not to have you do work over your break. But if you don't want to do work over your break, you've got to do it this week. Okay? Now, if you choose the in-person options to take your final, to give your book talk, you will probably need to spend the last couple of days of break refreshing yourself, studying, doing all of that thing. And so I'm giving you that option. If you'd rather do that, that's what you can do. But I really would recommend you do the work this week and get it done, and then have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Spend your break, your winter break, with your family and your friends. Enjoy yourself. Okay. All right. So I spent entirely too much time on this. If you watch this, you know what? I'm going to give you some extra credit points. If you watch this to the very end, I will give you, I don't know. This is a 25-minute video. You know what? I'm going to give you 5 extra credit points. But in order to do that, you're going to have to email me with a code word. Let's see, what could my code word be? Oh, why don't you just email me just one word, Supertunity. Supertunity. Remember my joking name for our final, the Supertunity? Supertunity. Supertunity. Just send me an email, and I'll give you 5 extra credit points for viewing this video. All right. Well, thank you, ELA students. Don't forget, I know how much you enjoyed this video. So don't forget to hit like, subscribe, enable your notifications so you can see all my great videos. And remember that in Mr. Wells' class, it is always a great day for ELA.